Welcome back to a brand new review for The Boys, episode 4, with your hosts, well, with Terrell and Najee. I'm on a different thing. Terrell and Najee here. Review episode 4, Glorious 5-Year Plan of The Boys. Coming back from our previous, where we just reviewed 3 episodes at once, where we will probably never do again. But we come right back into it, and we see that episode starts off with your boy Soulja Boy singing at the Solid Gold with Solid Gold Dancers, which is AKA Soul Training. They had a Soul Training because it was like the 60s or the 70s, I assume, that they're working with. We get a little bit more of like kind of Soulja Boy and his kind of accolades, as he's growing up or coming up. And we see a little bit of like what he's doing. And we start the episode off. We see your boy MM, as you like to call him, dealing with his whole issue with Soulja Boy, because we already know that Soulja Boy was, killed his family and yada. And they really haven't gotten into detail yet, but he killed his family. What did you think about just coming into this episode? Like, really them setting up the stage for MM Miller's Milk with his resentment towards Soulja Boy.
You don't want to ask me about the best part of the entire episode in the beginning, the whole commercial. I mean, first of all, it's the funniest thing I've ever seen. It's absolutely hilarious. And if you're going to really set a tone, sort of a style of a roller coaster way of designing this episode here, you're bringing us in pretty light, with a lot of laughs, just completely full-blown. The Boys, very satirical, very gory, what it does all the time, but like the way it had to kind of soften us up with this opening that I thought was brilliant. It was so good, to the point that you forget what potential menace that Soulja Boy may be,
right?
But then the next scene you see that was MM's whole gripe with him. So, for me, I'm just like, this is obviously one of the big story arcs going into this season is his vendetta. Also, shout out to the Boys getting a renewal for season 4 already. So, for all the folks that's, for some reason, there's a lot of hate for this season already. And it's not justified hate. It's a lot of silly stuff that people are hating. Like, oh my God, why wouldn't they release all the episodes at once? And it's way too gory and everybody is blowing up. I don't understand. Why does everybody got to blow up? All this other stuff. People trying to like, of course, people are mad about the woke part of it as well. So whatever. But like, again, like this episode starting off, I just instantly, even though we had seen the first 3 episodes and we, got to check it out in advance, coming back into this episode here, you're just kind of just like, yeah, always remember what you're about to get yourself into. Right. There's going to be some storytelling. There's obviously going to be some, some normal superhero tropes, but this is the Boys. So like, they're going to always push the needle as far as they could. So the opening was dope. And then getting into MM being a very, what's going to be a big part in this season. Because right now you can say that Butcher is going to be a big part because of his whole idea of taking the 24-hour V. And then even with everything with Homelander and how he's just becoming the Nazi he is, Terrell doesn't think he's racist, but I mean, what? Now he's still not racist? Still not racist?
I'm just saying he's my favorite character in the show. I feel like I identify with this guy a lot on so many.
Go ahead and get canceled from your own channel. Walking yourself to the cancel culture. It's a lovely place based on that episode of Atlanta. But listen, I just think that like I like how they're gonna make Mother's Milk a big character with a huge vendetta that we've seen with Billy in the previous seasons, but with him now being way, way more personal, but also under the radar. Because even in this episode 2, we kind of see him saying like, listen, I can't keep this team together. You all are on some other shit. Like I like this ain't working for me. You see him uncomfortable in every direction. So that's why it's intriguing, because like you see the stakes of what's happening with this. And ultimately, where this episode kind of lands at its conclusion, you kind of still wonder, like, what is his next step? So I like how they brought it in. I thought they told a really good story in one episode that really fits in as a pivotal part into what potentially could be a great season.
Yeah, you're definitely right. I definitely jumping back to what you were saying. This show does a really good job of like tense and funny, like having really tense moments like throughout the show and being funny. And I have noticed like coming into every episode, they've kind of try to throw some hilarity at the beginning because you already know like the rest of the episode is going to be real tense and uncomfortable and a little bit of whatever throughout the episode. So I do think they do a really good job. So I can't imagine why people would feel like those type of reviews are necessary because they've been doing this the entire time. So why is this now the issue?
And listen, it's cool to hate. That's all it is. People realize they get a lot of attention for negativity, even if it doesn't have any type of backing to it. Yeah, it's like, oh, if I make a hot take, regardless if it has any type of backings or base to it, people will talk about it. That's what some people's whole game is, to say, I'm going to say something negative because I know somebody's going to say something about it. Right. I literally saw, like, kind of off topic, but I literally saw people's reviews saying, I'm going to hate this. Really? So
then we jump back into coming back into the story with the boys. We see Huey run up on your boy Butcher in the bathroom or the closet. I'm not sure what it was, and he's he questions him on
shooting up
on the V24. He finds out that he's on the V because in the previous episode he just threw up on him, which was like one of the signs. So he already knows what it is.
Yeah.
And of course, he wants in on the power, and we kind of another it's funny because like Butcher's whole thing is against Supes and anybody with superpowers. He has this hate and disdain for him. It's kind of crazy seeing him kind of cross over, and like we've seen in the previous episode, these powers do something to people. You know what I mean? It almost kind of changes their personality or like amplifies it, to a certain extent. And Huey feeling worthless, feeling weak. He got that whole situation with his girl right now, kissing Homelander. He feeling some type of way about it, so he wants to get a power. And this episode definitely confirms that the V is completely random. I don't think that you can be given a specific power. I think it's just whatever to like your genetics or whatever. Like you will get something at random. We also see your boy Mr. Edgar, the CEO of Mr. Vought International, wanting to take a shot at Homelander by asking his adopted daughter to say something about him in the press. I thought that was interesting because now we have a power tug of war because Homelander has realized now that there are no, not to do Avengers, there's no strings on him. He could do whatever he wants. You know what I mean? There's nothing stopping him. He was really pressed about the admiration and everything from the fans, but now he's got a way to control it. What did you think about Edgar just wanting to come back in Homelander and kind of bring him back down? Because this is kind of like the only kryptonite they really have against him right now is making him care about what people think.
Yeah, I think these type of characters are always some of the best type of characters in any superhero title. It's the ones who don't have power but who has the most influence. You're talking about like the Wilders, the Luthers, the folks of those nature who can control a vast amount of folks without power, just with influence or reasoning, or even doubt in this case. So I like this as well too, because I also do like this Homelander that is completely like, I can't be touched. He said what he said last episode and he absolutely means it. And I like this because in terms of when you're talking about shows like The Boys or Invincible, where you're saying you have real life superheroes in a real world setting that understands that their actions have repercussions and whatnot. Right. But what if they did not actually care about the standards of society and they act in whatever regard they wanted to? And This is where Homelander, where we still seen him kind of off the chain, making some very careless decisions, but he still was very marginalized. Now we see him completely like, I don't care who you are. Anybody can get it at any given point. And he's a tyrant. But I mean, again, this is what you assume with somebody with a little bit of power. How would they act? Right. And when I say a little bit of power, I mean in authority. But then you actually add the fact that he has powers. It makes him a reckless person. So I love this change because I think when you talk about, who stops Homelander, you start to think about the powers across the board. Is it going to be a powered up Huey and Butcher? Will it be Starlight at some point? Like, who will it be? Will it be some new person that comes about? or will it just be at home, some human that was able to get in his mind? Will it be his son? Who knows at this point, you know? But like, it's just the idea, or Butcher's son. Or no, it's Homeland son. What am I saying? Yeah, Homeland son, because he got powers. But yeah, like you just, it keeps you guessing. But this right here is a very interesting one that's not going to be on nobody's charts high, because like, oh, he doesn't have powers. But we've seen folks just like this. This character trope has been around for years.
Right.
It makes it interesting now that we don't have them on the same page. Now what this thing look like. So I'm definitely like, this ain't gonna get messy. This is gonna get very strategical, because now you got Homelander feeling like he can't be touched at all. But who will be the person outsmart him? It ain't gonna be Bully, because Billy is definitely, I say Bully. Billy Butcher is not going to be able to do it because he's brute force. You see him with the power, he's going straight ahead. He's asking a question, and then he's out here trying to rap. And now he's really flexing, even in this episode where he's just like, so I know I was kind of chilling with the gun and all, like I didn't have powers or whatever. But now that I do got these powers, I mean, he pulled the Wonder Woman in No Man's Land move. He's like, okay, cool. I'm just going to walk through here because y'all can't touch me. Right. And you know, that's not going to work against Homelander, because once he figures out how V works, he's going to catch you when you're slipping. So
I think that's interesting too, because it's like you would think Vought, they had to have something as a contingency. Every time I watch this, I'm like, why would they create this person so strong and not have any contingencies or anything like that against it? And the only other person that the story is kind of setting up right now to be as strong, or if not stronger, is Soldier Boy. You know what I mean? Like, and they make it seem like he was just as strong, or if not, not better than Homelander at that point.
I mean, like in any storytelling, you need a strong villain in order to have strong protagonists at this point. And if we knew how Homelander could be taken down, then what's the whole point of watching? In a very ignorant way. Yeah, right. Because you're like, oh, well, all they got to do is this, and that. If we knew how to win the war, then what's the point of watching the story? You just like, well, that's the conclusion. And plus, also, too, even by Amazon's release strategy here, you also are watching 8 episodes to figure out how are they going to stop Homelander. Who is this Soldier Boy person? How is he still alive? I thought he was dead. What is this weapon that they're talking about? And even in this question, you said, what did they do to Soldier Boy? He's definitely not the same now. So what does that mean? But like, if we had these answers, I don't see the intrigue in wanting to watch. And I think the biggest question, which I hope we have this same question for many seasons, how do we stop Homelander? Right. I think that's the best part of it. And I keep wanting to see him be revved up more and more and more, so that this question gets more and more dire, where you're just like, all right, there's no way they're beating this dude now. You know what I mean? So it's the best part of watching anything in the superhero genre. If you don't have a good threat, there's no point.
Right. There's no magic rock or no red sun to put Homelander under. So they ain't got that. We jump into your boy A-Train wanting to do more for the black community.
The culture.
Just shucking it up, boy. Just trying to get
it driving. Yeah.
Yeah, just the coon that he is, boy. He Jesus Christ. I don't know why this upset me as I watched this, but this dude is putting on a commercial, which we all know at this point is that goddamn Kylie Jenner Pepsi commercial that they did with his product. Now, when this comes on, it looks as though it's like an actual event that's happening. He's like, "Oh man, that looks important. I gotta go do that." This shit was just the worst. All right, like this dude is trash. That suit is trash. Like he needs to get over, man. This. Oh my goodness, this commercial was ridiculous. I can imagine how what they were doing when they filmed this shit on set. You know what I mean? Like, would you do you think it's genuine that he actually wants to try to build up, not just build up his brand, but actually care about the community, like black people all of a sudden? Because this whole time, as we know, he's out for himself by any means possible.
No, it's pandering, and also I don't think he actually cares until he loses something, and I don't think the loss of his powers is what will make him care about his upbringing, the culture, or anything of that sort. Somebody like homeboy that he was on the stoop with, something like that. Something has to happen to him. Yes, has to happen to him in order for him to be, hate to say it, but woke. But right now, no, this is all propaganda to continue to state his relevancy within the group. Nothing to Homelander gives zero fuck. So at this point now, he's just trying to make sure like his whole status quo is in shape, is intact. So the commercial by all means was like all right. As soon as I saw it, I was like, yeah, I know what's going on here. And I hope we get more episodes of this too. I just want to see how much further he's going to pander. Like I want to see him go really hard into this. Like this is bad.
Slave game.
Yeah.
Game that I probably buy it, but no, I'm not buying that. We get into Starlight coming to Maeve about the the weapon that potentially that took out Soldier Boy and which might take out your boy Homelander. She tells her that she told Billy, and that's how he found out in the first place. And they kind of go back and forth, and they like, okay, now we need to get more allies in on this because she's now trying to train, get her life together because everybody kind of knows, everybody has this fear like, yo, if it came down to fighting Homelander, we got like 2-3 seconds tops. You know what I mean? Like we could probably do something, but we're really not going to do nothing to him. Yeah. But everybody's kind of trying to get their mindset like, hey, everybody's kind of prepared to die at this point. Everybody's just living on edge or living on fear. And like I said, she talks to her about trying to figure that out, and then of course they have a meeting for the 7, and your boy Homelander orders taco bowls for your boy Supersonic because he's Mexican, and this guy says to him he does not speak any Spanish whatsoever. He's not racist, but they talk about that. And that's when Starlight pulls him in on the plan. And of course, this dude is all in because he still loves her, obviously. He's like, hey, whatever I got to do, even though she told this dumbass not to join what it was on the inside. And he still wanted to come in and try to play save her from the inside. And of course, like I said, he's all in the frame. And then we also talk about your boy A-Train trying to tell Homelander that he wants to do more for the community. And then Deeps side roads him and tells him, "Hey, that will cut your base, your white base right now. You're gonna lose some of that." What did you? And then of course they wind up getting into a whole exchange in the hallway. They get back and forth, and that's where Supersonic tells them about the plan. At this point, did you think that? Because we see how A-Train then got down a couple times through these seasons. At this point, did you think that A-Train was legitimately in on the plan and like this was going to happen?
I don't know. I mean, the level of ass kissing right now is hard to measure.
Back and forth, and then that whole exchange back and forth between Deep and A-Train about, hey, you did this, I'm gonna tell them this. Everybody's whispering because they know this man can hear it. You know what I mean? Like, got to turn music up. Everybody, the level of fear that they show throughout the episodes, like where they got to do certain things just so Homelander won't find out, is crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, this is white supremacy at its finest here, Yeah, you can't out here willy-nilly do whatever you want, because if Homelander find out, he's executing folks. And I have no clue to that question. I just think it's the level of ass kissing is making this like, just a pick of the cards from the deck at this point. But yeah, everybody is definitely walking on eggshells because this man Homelander at any given point may just eavesdrop, maybe around the corner. And at the same time, while we may not be seeing it as per the show, we absolutely have strong confidence that he is picking up on some of these things that are happening. He's not just looking around like, what are you all doing? Hey, just stay down there when he was on the ground. It's a plan to it. Homelander, that's the thing. He's smart, and I also think not just in the terms of like intelligence, but he's this conveniently blessed with these powers that like he doesn't have to make bad mistakes because everyone else is walking on eggshells around him. He's just waiting for you to make a mistake, and then he corrects it. So, but yeah, you don't think he's racist, so no problem.
No, not at all. And it just so happens that the Anthony Starr, the actor himself, is pretty nuts himself. Not a racist, but like he's on some Tom Cruise shit. We definitely get the whole, like I said, and I say that whole thing about A-Train too, because like we've seen like over definitely this season and previous where Homeland just been coming at him left and right. Hey man, you fat, hey, you black, this, that, the third, and he's tired of it. I feel like he's been wanting to elevate himself on the team, and already struggling with the whole thing with his speed. And remember, they had that other speedster they were going to replace him with that I think died in the previous season. I'm not sure, but they were going to replace him with another speedster because it's pretty common of a power. So he's constantly trying to fight for his relevancy on this team. You know what I mean? So anything that he can get a leg up on, take up Homeland or whatever, he's trying to take that opportunity. And then Ashley too, man. She now that Homeland, I feel like Homelander has regressed back to himself from season 1, and she's now catching the heat again from when she was an assistant. So she's trying to take advantage of that as well. Ashley is one of those. We then cut to where we left off before. Butcher wants Kimiko to do a hit for Frenchie's ex or whatever his ex-employer, so that they can get an exchange going. And then we finally see Kimiko in a dress walk into a party, which I thought was interesting. I thought it was interesting because we've seen her kind of dressed down and jeans, stuff like that throughout the show. Instantly murders everybody. Sometimes I forget that she has superpowers and she has super Wolverine healing. She murders everybody at the freaking party. And then I feel like this is the part, because she says before that she's basically a hired gun. And, I'm not sure if it's the powers or if it's just Billy's attitude in general, but he's kind of just trying to turn against everybody. His son was his ex's son, and everything. So they're gonna do what he wants them to do. Do you think that's going to pretty much, that's going to be a big thing kind of going into the rest of the season where everybody kind of portrays Butcher for the way that he's been acting lately? He's just been kind of extremely distant and just trying to get this job done. Because, at the end of the day, once you're done, they don't have anything but themselves. So do you think that's going to cost them the team?
Well, this is what Mother's Milk's been saying in terms of can't put the team together. Everybody's all in different directions and Butcher just can't see it. The thing about Butcher and what's happening is that he's showing signs of just being an addict, and everything he's doing is very much accustomed to what an addict would do. So to me, I think it's this until they reel him back in. So I'm not surprised about his actions, because once you look at the V24 essentially as a drug, then you say oh, well, of course he's acting this way. He's going to start lying. He's going to start being deceitful. And he's going to start, disappearing, probably doing his own thing and whatnot, becoming more of a liability and so on. So we see oh, it appears to be kind of good right now. There's no problem. But we also seen him obviously have his moments, and then obviously Huey calling him out about them and whatnot. They've already had a sparky exchange last episode. So it's truly starting to become just the residuals of him taking this. And again, it's a drug at the end of the day. So will it cost them the team? Potentially, it can already have cost them the team based on
they broke up 5 times since this show started. They didn't got back together.
Yeah. So at this point now, it's just they're gonna have to find something to stick together. And to me, what that may be Kimiko's decision to want to leave. How does that impact everything? Because
she can definitely kill everybody in there and walk out without the stuff. So I'm not sure why she's even dealing with this. Mainly for Frenchie.
Because she's a hired killer. She's not just a brainless killer. Right. With the right mission, she does it. But even in the right missions that she's hired to do, just like in this one, when she killed all the people, she says she's done. She says seeing all those women like that and then how they responded to her, she's just done. So her doing a job that was just all about the job still has emotional value to her. To me, with the boys essentially being family, if she decides to step away from that and walk away, then you really start to question yourself that. We lost, the heart of our team, and behind her will be Frenchie, and so that's it. That's a wrap at that point, So I think that's what's going to end up coming into question for them to decide if they're going to keep the band together.
Yeah, I just thought that was interesting, man. That's like I said, every season the team is kind of on the edge, oh, we done, something happens, or somebody crosses the line and then they want to get back together. So we know how this goes. Now that we know it's a 4th season, I can't assume, but they're still going to be there. we then cut to the scene where Ashley comes to Homelander telling him, hey, your girl Victoria about to drop a press conference on you. And he goes off on her, talking about, is your brain on stupid? And this is what I mean by like him, her going back to that point, because like when she was in season 1, when she was an assistant, this is how she was being treated like shit. Now she's gotten to that level of power where she's been able to do this to everybody else. Like I said, we're starting to get Homelander season 1 back, where he's just shitting on everybody. Like you said earlier, it doesn't matter who you are and what you gonna do about it. So we then cut to the scene where we get to the press conference, and Edgar's like, "Hey, just what you got to do, yada yada yada. Go up there, see what you got to say." And then we find out that she just ultimately betrays him to protect her daughter, because of course Homelander had to threaten the kid, because that's what he does. And she reveals that he was on some inside, whatever it was, and he winds up losing his power as the CEO, and now pretty much has been given to Homelander, because as he said, this is a company of superheroes. While we listen to them, we're the ones with the power. And I thought it was interesting, because they built up that relationship between them two as father daughter, and he then presents to her as like, hey, Edgar was going to betray you the whole time anyway. Yeah. And I get it. In exchange for that whole thing, he gave her V. He gave her the legit V, apparently with all the herbs and spices. And what did you think about like kind of like that sacrifice she made, portraying her adopted father out of fear of Homelander?
I mean, that's exactly what it was, out of fear. I think she has more confidence that he knows what to do, but in her situation, it's a lot different thing, because she doesn't know her position here. I think in terms of Stan and Edgar having her at best interest, forget everything Homelander's taking. I think you don't take that to heart. I think at this point that you realize like, oh, okay, there's some dysfunction into something that was very normal. So at this point now you have to say like, okay, where does that put me? Does my adopted dad still have my best interest? I would assume yes. But what is Homelander's ultimate plan with me? He says, yes, I read the files. I know that you have powers and abilities and whatnot. So that puts her sort of on his side, because that's where he's kind of, he's making a stance of like, if you're one of us, then you're one of us. If not, then, you don't deserve to have a seat at the table. And I think that like gives her a unique position in terms of like power and authority and sort of stature in a little bit. But still, she doesn't know, because who can trust Homelander? I think the other bit of evidence that she's obviously very fearful of this guy is her giving her daughter the V.
Right.
Where she's just like, okay, and so is he just anti-human, period? Because what if he comes to my daughter?
What does that mean? Magneto, like, you ain't mutant. You gotta get up out of here.
So I think it's just at this point now, Homelander reshuffled the deck, and everybody's trying to figure out where they're gonna land. That's just what it is. And even with the whistleblowers and whatnot, I think now we're just it's just a really good setup to make all these characters uncomfortable, but yet you get, again, as I said, you get that very traditional trope of the human who is able to go toe-to-toe with the super hero, super villain, however you want to flip it, that's going to use just normal human resources, like, I don't know, common sense, rationality, morale, these ethics, these things and whatnot. Or even a dirty game of it, but still making that other person think, so I like how this plays. And I also think that Victoria is going to play a probably an interesting part in this as well too, because Homelander probably is like, okay, well, you're on my side now,
right? Yeah, that's
or will she?
The assumption. And plus, like you said, like her injecting her daughter with that V, man, looked like it fucking hurt. Like, that looks painful, and of course she doesn't know if it's going to mutate her into something or what. I mean, that was quite the risk, you know what I mean? Like, but I guess, at this point, giving your kids any advantage in this superpowered world that they're going into, and it looks like as though they can kind of give anybody they want powers, and see how that goes. We then follow up on, your boy getting caught, like I said earlier, getting caught in the closet, shooting up on that V, and Huey wants to taste. And before they go on this mission for emergencies, because he said it was for one time only, but it's now for emergency. And they go on the mission in Russia, and we stumble upon your boy Soldier Boy still in the cold containment, or being held in the containment. this is after this is revealed that Butcher now has powers to the team, and everybody's surprised, but Huey, of course, and Huey has like teleportation.
Yeah, something.
I didn't think that Soldier Boy would still be alive. I thought we would just keep everything in the past, like it would be thinking,
right. It's I mean, because the trailer spoiled it. So I looked at a trailer after we had done our review, and I was like, oh, so Soldier Boy's alive. And obviously you can see it's modern, and he looks like he has just woken up out of a long nap or whatnot by his right. So so this reveal here wasn't like shocking as much as it could have been, but it is sort of just again very standard traditional superhero super genre trope in Awakening. Where am I? First person I see, I'm going to attack type of thing.
Looks like he's been modified from his original power set too.
Yes, and
if that wasn't his power already, because they don't tell you what his powers are, but I don't know if that was some of your
right. And I mean, this looks like what's his name? What's Scott's brother?
Havoc.
Yeah, Havoc's ability, but there seems to be another interesting part to it. It seems like his ability. Then there's a word I'm looking for here. I can't think of the word, but there's a word. But we see Kimiko takes the blast, but then her powers then gets is it hindered? I guess the word we can say here. It seems like his abilities causes her to lose her powers. And is that a subset of what the weapon is? Did they make him a weapon to get rid of people's powers? His power eliminates other people's powers.
Right.
So it's sort of a very energetic blast, much like Havoc, that doesn't seem to be controlled, but he had a little bit of direction to it. So, it looked combustible, but it looked like it had a little bit of direction to it. But ultimately, she happened to be the one that her powers ended up taking a loss in her healing abilities, which traditionally, you talk about Wolverine, nothing typically gets rid of the healing abilities. That's typically the one that just never goes away unless there's something that dampers, the ability. So that's
we just seen earlier in the episode, she took a bullet to the head and came back from that.
Yeah, absolutely ate that. Yeah, breakfast for her. So this tells you that, the weapon they're looking for, is he the weapon? Is he a modified version of Soldier Boy that possesses the weapon? Did they take Soldier Boy's DNA with this weapon DNA or whatever it may be and create this? Like, it's something to that, but you have to think, whenever somebody has an ability again, the whole combustible factor thing is already most of the time considered a strong power set.
Right.
But eliminating somebody's ability or hindering somebody's ability,
that's exactly what they need right now, especially if they look at the Homelander. So I mean, it's pretty obvious. I think that this is kind of trying to zone in on them having some type of control of Soldier Boy or using Soldier Boy some type of way to take down Homelander. Like, he's going to be the key in whatever this winds up leading down to. But yeah, I mean, again, like I said, hopefully we're doing the next, we get a little bit more in the insight of how, if that was already a part of his power set, or if this does indeed nullify the powers, because like you said, Kimiko was not healing at all, and she's got like the little pipes in her and everything like that. So we'll definitely see how that goes. But yeah, your boy MM, he ain't feeling it. He's pissed off, after all this, and everybody's more disappointed at Huey that he did this shit. Like, man, really?
Huey has no clue what's that. Again, the drugs. He's high off this right now. So
he's looking at his arm like a junkie, like, oh, like, this is like the best thing ever. But everybody's disappointed. Like, you expect this out of Butcher, but not Huey. Like, come on, man, you better than this. You're the heart of the team. You're better than this. You can't be out here doing that. Like,
yeah.
We then cut back to Homelander and Starlight at a movie premiere or a press conference, whatever it was, and he's like, "Yeah, everybody want to see me and Starlight fly?" He takes it to the roof and reveals the body of a dead Supersonic, and that whole A-Train portrayed him. Shocking information there. And told Homelander everything about the plan. He's like, look, you either fall in line, I'm gonna kill Huey and everybody that you love, and he's like, yeah, she tried to fight him. He was like, come on, you already know how that's about to go. You know what I mean? Were you surprised that A-Train did this?
No, Absolutely not. The dude is a scum, and he has never proved otherwise. So it absolutely makes sense. At this point now, the Deep versus him is basically proving who can leave the biggest lip marks on Homelander's ass. That's just what it is, and it's no surprising. Right on par. I was like, yeah, saw it coming. So
I hate A-Train. I've hated A-Train since episode 1. I hate his actor. I hate every movie he's in. So and he's just really playing. I feel like he's playing himself in real life, and I hate.
Jesse's a cool dude, man. I can't even front. I met him for season 1. Yeah, he's cool dude. But I mean, yeah, he's been taking some crazy role. I mean, he's about to be in the new spinoff of The Walking Dead. He was in Shaft. I'm about to say Shaft, which I thought he did a dope job in. And he was in something else as somebody else's son. He was in, when I joked about it, I was like, man, you're gonna keep taking roles of iconic people's sons and whatnot. But I think that's just a testament to the character. And right. I think everybody involved with this. I don't think there's many likable characters in it. I mean, Aya Cash should absolutely be on everybody's top hated list. I love her. She's fantastic. And I think that this is when actors are getting their money. When you out here can spark legitimate hate towards you, in heat, shall I say, not hate, but heat, in terms of what your characters are doing, much like pro wrestling. But at the end of the day, they're actors, they're professionals, and please don't approach these folks with hey, I don't like your character, I don't like you. Don't
that's respectable. If you were just talking about characters and not the person themselves, that's cool, because this is a job, this is a role. It's not that serious, you know what I mean? Like, keep it on the level of, hey man, I can't stand your character, you're doing a good job, you know what I mean? Like, let's keep it there. Ain't nothing to do with skin color or whatever, let's
Independence Day, that's what I was talking about. He was Will Smith's son.
Bring that up. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Terrible. Yeah. Anyway, that's how that episode winds up wrapping up, man, with your boy A-Train doing what A-Train does. And Starlight even falling even deeper into the despair that she was in. Hopefully, gladly they probably didn't tell him too much on how they plan to do it. But I don't even if they did have some, I don't even think Homelander even cares. Like, you ain't got nothing. You ain't gonna stop me. Like, if you really wanted to. But again, him and Butcher kind of got that deal going on right now between each other. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah, this cockiness could be his demise, though. He doesn't, at this point now, he's going to feel like he has everybody's checked, so he's not going to see things coming. I think what should be the now a welcoming of Soulja Boy should definitely shake things up. But I think in true Homelander fashion, he's going to say, hey, this looks like an ally. Let's talk. And we'll see how that, affects things. Imagine unleashing this guy, and he's like, yeah, I'm definitely trying to be in the group. I mean, they do have an open slot now, but don't forget, they both are leaders. No one wants to take a B. Everybody wants to be the A, so that could be the problem.
Definitely curious how they about to write his death off. That'd be interesting. But yeah, on that note, that was the end of the episode. It was a really good episode. Definitely, like I said, I mean, Amazon is smart with this month. Week to week plan they got going on right now on the rollout. I don't see an issue with it. I mean, definitely, like you said, it brings the water cooler talk every week, and it definitely like you said, pushes the how are we gonna do it? How are they gonna do it? How are they gonna defeat Homelander every episode? Because I feel like if they just gave it to you all at once, it's like, all right, now we know how it ends. Let's keep it moving. But no, it's like I said, it was a really great episode. Anything else you had to say on it?
Nah, man, ready for next week's episode, man. This was dope. So, yeah, let's get to it.
But you guys know how it works. If you got any comments, leave them down below. Let us know what you thought about the episode and how you think they're going to take down Homelander. And are Huey and Butcher hooked on that V? We'll see next time for episode 5. See you.